Good morning. I'm straight into this one from the last. I thought I'd better get it done while it's quiet. Right. And my hands are shaking about. Sorry about that. I'm getting a bit of cramp. There we go. Yeah. Tips and tricks in terms of, well, it's not tips and tricks now. It's statistics. My good old brother, hiya bro, said to me, he's right. More men die with prostate cancer than actually die from it. Think about it, what he's saying. A lot of men, when they die, have cancer, but they don't die from it. It doesn't cause them to die. And that's the vast majority of men. Yeah. So I was just thinking about what my sister said to me. My older sister. And I've no doubt she'll be watching this. And it was very helpful at the time. I used to visit her because she lives up, in York. So I visit her very seldom because of the distances. And she's very poorly, and she's been very poorly since she was a child. And she's now, she's 4 years older than me, so, and when we used to part, it used to get very tearful. And I'm just thinking about it gets to me now. And it obviously got to her a bit at one point. I got home and she phoned me up. And she says, I keep meaning to say this to you. And it was most helpful. She said, I've lived my life. She says, I've had all my children. I've been happily married. I've been loved. Sorry. And she said, when I go, I will be very content. She says, my life has been fulfilled. I think was her words, something like that. I've lived a full life. And she's right. And that's the way I think now. She helped me no end by those comments. So thank you. Oh dear. Big hugs. Anyway. My nose is blocking up terribly now. Yeah. So thank you very much. Work wonders. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 o'clock. Yeah. Statistics. So I watched this, it was American, and of course you get these California University of Urology and all these sort of things. Massachusetts and it's all about money with them. But this guy was giving a talk on whatever, and basically what he said, and this relates to what my brother told me, he said, in America, as they do, so, he says, statistics show that men with prostate cancer, 99% of all men with prostate cancer are still alive after 5 years. 98% are still alive after 10 years. And I think it was 96% are still alive after 15 years. Now, when you start looking at and I think UK figures are pretty similar. I actually watched podcasts between a urologist, American urologist, and a UK London specialist, one of the top British urologists. I can't remember the name now, but it was an hour-long discussion, and they were comparing notes about differences between America and UK. And believe it or not, UK treatments are better than America. As I explained before, in the UK they've developed the procedures of doing MRI scans and then doing biopsies based on that. In America, because it's all financed by insurance companies and things, they haven't reached that stage yet. And you know, they don't do they don't do MRIs on a regular basis. So, you know, well done NHS, well done UK. And this guy was sort of, wow, you know, is that what you do in the UK? That's marvellous. You know, it's going to come here in America when the insurance companies get their act together and they see the benefits of doing it, financial benefits of doing it, the way that you do it in the UK. So, you know, be reassured, you're getting top-notch service, top-notch treatment in the UK. Right, this is where it can get very medically technical. The way that, and I might be slightly, I'm not a doctor. This is all my own sort of investigation, learning. The way I understand it is that the majority, when I say majority of prostate cancers, there are some that are exceptions and are nasty, deadly, aggressive, fast-growing, you know, they'll tell you. But you get this from the biopsies, of course. You'll find out, and I haven't found out yet. But majority of prostate cancers are, not majority. Prostate cancers are, in general, totally different to all the cancers. So if you think about brain tumours, lung cancer, you know, throat cancers, they're a totally different type of cancer. The way that it was explained was that prostate cancers are unique in terms of their identity, and they are prostate identified, or PSA, prostate syndrome antibodies, and they actually use that to know what's happening and, you know, what's going where if it's got out. But the other thing is that these prostate cancers will only develop and grow with testosterone. Now, I'm sure you know testosterone comes from male testes. And what I want you to do now, a little, and I'll come back to it in a bit. I want you to think of a plant or something that best describes testicles. So, you know, you might think, golf ball, or plum, or coconut. So have a think, and this is bloody funny. Well, it's not bloody funny to me. It's hilarious, but anyway, yeah. So, prostate cancer basically survives off testosterone. So one of the medical treatments that you get, and if you sort of, like I did 4 years ago, they put you on flecainide. Now, flecainide is a testosterone suppressant. Now, when you get suppressed testosterone in your body, it does various things to you. Your hair doesn't fall out, or in the majority of cases, you start growing man boobs. Yeah, which, you might enjoy if you're that way inclined. It also can have some level of erectile dysfunction, which I think, I don't need to explain that, do I? And your libido, so you don't necessarily want to make love as often. Libido, is what occurs when you're getting a little bit randy, So, you're fancying your partner a bit, that's libido when you're loving them. So that's the side effects of testosterone suppressant. So you get this cancer. It gets diagnosed via the biopsies as one of the normal, not the exceptional. We can treat you, but the chances are you're not going to survive very long. And of course, you don't know until the biopsy results, which I'm waiting for. So one of the treatments is that they start basically what's called chemical castration. That's right. Chemical castration, basically, they either do it by injection or by tablet. Now, one of the ways that these cancer cells behave is they have a survival mechanism where if they sense that they are losing testosterone, they have some sort of store or energy, and they go into overdrive. So what happens is that they go rampant for a short period of time, basically until they've used up all their resources within themselves. So if the doctor, the urologist, is going to give you an injection, and one injection lasts, say, 1 month, 3 months, or 12 months. Don't know quite the difference, but and to try and minimise this rampant effect of the cell or cells or tumour or whatever, put you on a course of tablets. Not sure what they do, but apparently that's normal. And it controls this sudden surge that you get when they stop the testosterone. Now, in general terms, the injections don't have a great deal of side effects other than having no testosterone side effects. But the cancer, the body, becomes accustomed to this injection, or can become accustomed to it, and it can happen within 2-3 years. So it's not necessarily a long-term solution. And I think the term is castration-resistant prostate cancer, or developed castration resistance. So you might see that term. Yeah, so, and then they have to change your medication, and they'll see this by blood tests and PSA results and things. And the injections, there is an alternative tablets, but from what I can see with the tablets, there's all sorts of side effects that it can create problems within your guts, and they get blockages in certain areas. So it's if you don't want the injections and you're on the tablets, I see it as a sort of a more riskier means. Yeah, so one of the other alternatives at this point, when you get sort of, this is your decisions that you're going to have to make, is that an option is that you can. Now, when I say you can, it's down to discussions and convincing the urologist and whoever but you could potentially have castration. Now, of course, that if you're 40-year-old, that's not necessarily a good option, because you might want children. But of course, like me, 70-year-old, it's not much of a big deal. So this comes to, and I'm sorry about the shaking, this comes to the answers to the previous quiz. What plant or, thing have you come up with to describe your testicles? Best describe your testicles. Go on, put it in the comments. I'll have a right chuckle at them when I read them. Because the medical term for a castration is an orchidectomy. Yeah, orchid. Have you seen an orchid? Beautiful flower. Oh, stamens, oh, colours, radiate, oh dear, petals, oh, testicles, oh, brilliant testicles on an orchid. Oh dear. Yeah, why if you're a doctor, why would you say, hey, Dave, Fred, what are we going to call this operation that we've just invented where we cut this guy's bollocks off? I know. Let's upset him and call him an orchid. Orchidectomy. Oh dear. Sorry, sorry about that. Yeah, so orchidectomy. That's the official term. Spelled exactly like orchid, ORCHID, ectomy. Mastectomy. When you have a breast removed for cancer. I understand a mast because they do, you lay down, they do stick up a bit, don't they? Mastectomy. Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny for a lady. But orchid, oh dear. Where do they get them from? Billy Connolly. He never got that one in his routines, did he? Orchidectomy. Dear me. Yeah, anyway. You do go through the emotions when you go through this. Yeah, so, so in terms of long-term treatments, all that sort of thing, obviously the thing that, and this will probably take up the next few minutes and I'll probably stop at the end of this. One of the, if the prostate cancer gets out of the prostate and migrates into the rest of the body, they want to know where it's going. And the old, I'm talking about 4 or 5 years ago, the procedure was that they give you scans, CT scans and things, and basically they're looking for tumours in your lymph nodes and wherever else in your body. So it's a bit hit and miss. They'll only see something that's over a certain size, and they're checking certain areas, and it's then up to the radiologists how good they are, and they actually do these tests where more than one will do it, and then they'll see who's spotted it, if there is anything. Because you can get a growth that's like the size of a grain of rice or a grain of sugar, And when I say growth, a tumour. And of course, they need to know where it's at so that they can treat these. And it's called metastasized. Good word. So if you're like me, you're in a stage 5. It's got out of the saying, or the MRI saying that it's got out of the prostate. So it's potentially metastasized. But if they catch it early enough, they catch it before it's created any tumours. They stopped all your testosterone. And I am seriously considering an orchidectomy. But haven't had any discussions yet and decisions, final decisions, so that will come. Anyway, very cleverly, what they now do is that because this the prostate syndrome antibodies have got a very unique signature, this antibody, which is basically, anyway, they've developed these this solution, I'd best describe it, but it's a microbiological, chemical, composed, whatever. And basically it's got two open areas for attachments. And basically what it does is that, I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, they inject this fluid into you. Now, it's designed so that it goes around your body and it seeks out and attaches itself to the antibody. The other end of this same cell, is been designed chemically so that it wants to attach itself to, I think it's gallium. I might be slightly wrong, but it's a gallium-38, which is a material that can hold radiation. So what they do before they inject this into you, at the labs at the hospital, they have a radioactive source in a lead container. They get this vial of liquid, they pop it down into this lead chamber, and it's irradiated with radiation. It's not severe, it's not excessive, it's not massively dangerous. They then pop this ampule out with the specific antigen cells, and then they come running along the corridor, quick, inject him, get it in your arm, and then you've got to sit quietly for an hour while it's circulating your body and finding all the necessary cells. And then they stick you in a CT scanner. I'm wobbling again, sorry. Very clever, amazing, what they've been able to develop around this. And got to give you confidence that, you're going to survive this for a long time, many, many years. Unless it's the bad one. Anyway, so basically it attaches itself, and when it attaches, it then starts to irradiate. It gives off the radiation. Now the half-life, if you understand radiation, and like plutonium's got millions of years half-life, so half-life is after that half of its life, it's diminished its ability to radiate. So effectively, if you've got something with a short half-life, it will only give off radiation for a small period of time. And then it dies. It stops radiating and it stops doing that. So what they do is that it's a narrow time slot, I think is the term they use. And they get you in the CT scanner, and it scans and looks for this radiation. And you get this image of your whole body, and it shows up black in the areas that the prostate cancer has migrated to, metastasized. Now, of course, if you've got a tumour, and a prostate tumour that's developed elsewhere, so if it's slightly more advanced, excuse me, my voice is going, you'll see a big blob, a dot, and apparently this can sense down to a few millimetres, so it senses very small ones as well. But effectively, within a relatively short period of time, the radiation's died off, so no harm done to your internals. And then you pee out the fluid, your kidneys clear it out, your gallium or whatever, and off you go. Now, it's called a PSMA PET scan. I can't remember what the PET stands for, and the PS is prostate syndrome. Prostate specific, and I think it's the M, and I think the A is attachment or something, so it's like metabolic attachment or something it stands for, which basically describes what the cells do, attaching to the antibodies. So, slightly different to the PSA, but PSMA PET scan. So I'm going to be talking to the urologist about, obviously I've got stage 5, it's gone out into my body. How are you going to find out where it's gone? And if there's any areas that need killing off in terms of, and please, remove my orchids. Because if you have orchidectomy, by the way, you don't need these injections, you don't need the course of the tablets. The regular PSAs that would normally give you which is removing your blood every 3 months, isn't as crucial. So it might be every 6 months. So with my lifestyle, and people in the family know what I mean, it'd suit me down to the ground. Anyway, we're now at 26 minutes. So I think that's more or less as far as we can get at this stage. The data sheet that was supplied when I had my biopsies basically said that they would come back to me within 7 to 10 days. The Verity, said that it would be possibly 3 weeks. And when you read Cancer Research UK or NHS website, it's saying 3 to 4 weeks. So it's nothing more than anxiety of not knowing, anxiousness. And I'm sure that if you're going through it, you'll know what I mean. I'm sure if you're family and friends, you'll understand. Anyway, coming up to my 30-second limit, I'm going to sign off now. Subscribe and go back and watch all the others and you'll get a better history of what I've been telling you about. Yeah, so and comments, please do. What are your guesses for the name of a testicle? Orchid. Anyway, good morning all. It's now, I guess, coming up 7 o'clock. So I'm going to sign off now. And I'll probably post this in a few days' time so you won't get it immediately. Okay all, bye for now.